Anti-Hustlers Weekly Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how to unplug. So let's start with the first and obvious scenario. If you're watching live with me right now in the chat, just tell me on average how often you're looking at a screen per day. Is it 1 hour a day, 2 hours per day, 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day? How often are you looking at your screen? Now think of it this way, okay? How many screens do you have in your life right now? You likely have your phone. Okay, you likely have your computer, you likely have a television, you likely have an iPad or a tablet. There's so many areas of distraction that really withhold us from achieving what we want in our life. And what I want to help you do is understand how to avoid those distractions. Now, there's some simple techniques, obviously. Do not disturb is a very valuable one, but there's other apps that you can use that will actually lock you out of certain apps to not get distracted. On iPhone, I'm guessing Android probably does this too. I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing on Android as well, you can actually use apps that will tell you how long you're looking at an app on average. I stopped looking at those things because it was extremely alarming how much time I was wasting on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, just scrolling mindlessly. If you are looking at your phone first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening, and you're wondering why you're constantly stressed out, frustrated, not feeling like you're making progress in your life or business, that's why. And so at POD Unplugged, the event that we just ran at my home here in Tampa, we asked these two prompts, okay? And if you want access to this worksheet, just drop a 7 in the chat on the actual Facebook chat, and we'll make sure that we send it over to you. The first question is, where are you too plugged in? Meaning, where are you spending too much time wasting time? And the next question is, what accountability tools will you use this year to become more unplugged? And so there was an amazing set of conversations that we had at the event with these agency owners that we work with, breaking down essentially all of the different strategies that you can use to avoid being too plugged in. And the major one that we came away with that's most valuable is identifying what we call a get shit done day. Has anyone heard of a get shit done day before? Get shit done day is a day where you don't have any meetings, you don't have any schedule. In terms of the day, you only will get things done on your calendar, on your to-do list that are most important. Now, the way to ensure that you're consistently achieving that is through the Eisenhower matrix. Does anyone know what the Eisenhower matrix is that is on this call right now? If you don't know what it is, I'm going to show you right now. And this is just an extremely effective method of being able to grow your life and your business more effectively by being more successful with organization, okay? And it's a very, very, very simple format. And I'm going to show it to you right now. The Eisenhower matrix looks like this. In the top left is your most important and urgent tasks, the things that you have to do right now. On the top right are things that are important, but they're not urgent. They don't have to be done this second. What you have to do is either schedule it or decide to do something else with it altogether, maybe delegating it. On the bottom left is something that's not important, but it is urgent. Okay, so it's not important to you, but it is urgent. That means it needs to be delegated. And the last bit is what's not urgent and what's not important should be eliminated altogether. Now, the thing that people struggle with the most as agency owners, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and frankly, human beings just in general, right, is the biggest problem people see is they think everything is important and urgent. And here's a simple way that I can explain it to you, okay? Human beings have a horrible, horrible time trying to remember what they're doing with their time, let alone what they should do with their time moving forward. That's why there's a lot of people that always are concerned about wasting their time or trying to biohack by, let me wake up 3 hours earlier to get more time. This is a constant thing we see in life consistently through any walk of life, any type of person. And so what we've identified is your brain looks at everything as binary, as ones and zeros, right? There is no, category in your brain that's automatically identifying what's more important than the other, even on the most important things, like picking up your children from school versus answering an email. Everyone would agree that picking up your kid is more important from school, and yet people are late to that because they're writing an email back. Why? How does that happen? And it's simply lacking intention on this Eisenhower matrix. And so if you can take anything away from this call, if it's just this one thing, it's the simplest thing to do. It always starts with a brain dump, okay? Just identify and write down every single thing that's on your mind. All of it, all the to-dos that you believe you have, write it all down. Just journal prompt it. What do I have to do today? What is on my mind right now? Write everything down personally and professionally. I need to answer, Michelle's email. I need to write this copy for the ad. I need to launch this campaign. I need to talk to my media buyer. I need to pick up my daughter from school. I need to do the laundry. I have to make dinner tonight. Write it all down. Brain dump every single thing, and then separate them into two things: personal and professional. Okay, now you have two separate documents. Since we're in a business setting, I'm going to be talking about business stuff, but you can do the exact same thing personally. Then you look at the Eisenhower matrix and you identify it, every task on this Eisenhower matrix, and you will be amazed. You will be literally amazed at how much shit you think is important and urgent that's not. If every single thing that you're doing is important and urgent, it just means you struggle with prioritization. And the reality is a lot of people struggle with prioritization, me included, by the way. So I'm not on a high horse at all. The reason I'm very cognizant of this is because I've struggled with this a lot. I will prioritize things that are very inappropriate to prioritize over my son, which, saying that out loud, makes me want to physically vomit. Like, it makes me sick, but it's true. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not true. I prioritize clients over my wife sometimes. That's disgusting. It's not appropriate, but it's not meant to be that way. I didn't mean to do that. It's because I'm not appropriately intentional with my actions. So using the Eisenhower matrix once a week can really benefit you. I'm going to show you another tool that you can use on your productivity that I will give you if you drop a 7 in the chat when I show it to you if you want it. And it's called the 5 questions to clarity. Before I get there, I just want to talk about one other element that I think is really valuable for you. If you're enjoying this, can you just drop a 1 in the chat? I'd really appreciate it. Now, this consideration is very valuable to remember what you're doing everything for, okay? So when I shared where you two plugged in, what accountability tools can you do to become more unplugged? At the end of the day, most people we work with want to achieve 2 things, right? They want time freedom and they want financial freedom. So I'm going to ask you, have you defined what those things mean to you? Have you identified what time freedom means to you? Have you clarified what financial freedom means to you? Or do you just constantly move the goalposts? Do you constantly just find yourself filling space with more work, more responsibility, and more goals? You say, I want to make 25K a month. You hit 25K a month. And then what do you say immediately thereafter? I want to hit $50,000 a month. Meaning the $25,000 a month goal was purposeless in the first place. So what I identified is, after hitting certain revenue goals, which both companies I work in have over $100,000 a month, which I'm super grateful for, right? If that's not true, by the way, one of them is a little bit less than that. But anyways, the whole point of saying this is, what do I really want? And so what I recognize is the thing I really want more than anything is spending time with my son. That's the thing I want more than anything, especially now that he's young and he's going to be 2 in a couple of weeks and he's saying a lot more words and he can communicate, and it's so much fun and so exciting. And I want to spend time with him much more than I want to do client work or sales calls or work on the Anti-Hustlers Weekly show, very transparently. But I would find myself saying that and doing another thing. And that's what cognitive dissonance is, if some of you don't know what that means. Cognitive dissonance is believing something but acting in a different way. And all of us have been there before, and I'm being vulnerable and transparent to say, even in the worst scenarios where I say I want to spend more time with my wife, and then I prioritize clients, or I say I want to spend more time with my son, but I prioritize clients. That's not appropriate. And so I don't know how to break that strategy. And so here's what I figured out. I needed a totem. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but a totem is basically a visual representation of what matters to you most. It's why a lot of people do like vision board and like manifestation of what they want, but it doesn't have to be woo-woo. It can be very simple. And so what I recognize is oftentimes my current self will punish my future self. What does that mean, Alex? Well, what I would say is I'm on a call with Brandy. Okay, let's say Brandy wants to join Prospecting on Demand. She's not in POD. I speak with Brandy at 2 o'clock on a Thursday inside of Messenger. And I'm like, Brandy, we should have a conversation about you joining POD. And she says, that's great. Can we do 5 o'clock Eastern on Friday? Now, I know 5 o'clock Eastern on Friday is my time with my son. But current Alex says, F future Alex, I will take that call with you, Brandy. Now, what I did is I prioritized Brandy over my son, which is completely inappropriate. And yet I would still do it over and over. Why? And I would find myself getting on that call at Friday at 5 p.m. with my son in the window wanting to spend time with me, feeling ashamed, feeling frustrated with myself and disappointed in myself that I'm not a good enough dad or a good enough man or strong enough discipline. And I realized that it's just too easy to be your own worst enemy. So I needed a totem. And this was my totem. I put a picture of my son, a Polaroid of my son and I love this Polaroid. It's just a lot of fun. A Polaroid of my son on my desk. And it's literally right here next to me every single day. I have one more also of him and his cousins, because these are the things that matter to me most, right? My son is the thing that's most important to me in the whole world, right? And then my beautiful wife and myself. That being said, if I don't have a totem, a visual representation, it makes it harder, because here's how it works now. Brandy says, Alex, can you do 5 p.m. on Friday? I have to look at the photo of myself and my son and make a cognitive decision at that time to say, I will bypass and choose intentionally to not spend that time with Ellie versus saying, I can't do that. I can do Monday at 10 when he's already at daycare. And I'm not going to sit on a high horse and say that I have always chosen correctly, because I haven't. And I don't expect that you will always choose correctly. And you should give yourself grace for that up front. You're not going to change just by a snap of fingers or because of pictures on your desk. But I can say for sure that at minimum 80% of the time now, I'm choosing correctly. And you might say, well, you should be ashamed, Alex. But frankly, I don't give a shit what you think, because the only thing that matters is, can I be satisfied with who I am as a father? And at 80%, I wouldn't say I'm satisfied, but I'm definitely better. I'm definitely better. And that's all I'm asking for, just progress. This is stuff that matters so much more to me than sales training and processes that I know you guys really want. And obviously we're going to be doing this on the Anti-Hustler show. But if I don't share this stuff, then I'm doing only shallow stuff that doesn't fucking matter. I know how to make you money. I know how to help you build a better business. But if you're constantly moving the goalposts, constantly overwhelmed, constantly burnt out and stressed, it's because you're too plugged in. You are constantly multitasking. You have shiny object syndrome. Put a totem on your desk. Identify and use the Eisenhower matrix. Those are 2 very easy steps to take that will help you be more successful. If you resonate with that, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think I'm full of shit, drop a 7 in the chat. And that's cool as too. Also, like, it's okay. You can think I'm full of shit. I really don't care. It's all good. So that was like one of the main things that I really wanted to cover today. I really wanted to make sure that I shared that. The next thing that I really wanted to share was this treasure map that we did at POD Unplugged. The reason that I want to share this is because I mentioned earlier, like, most people want time and financial freedom in their life and in their business, but then they really don't even know like what that means, you know? Like, people are constantly saying they want to hit a certain revenue number, then they hit it, and then they are like on to the next one. And so they lack fulfillment, satisfaction. They don't get enjoyment from their business or their life. And you're always wondering, why is that the case? And what we found is most people just don't define what they want. They just don't do it. Because hustle culture tells you that if you don't do more, you're failing. I just want you to know that there is an alternative to hustle culture. My whole thing is anti-hustle, which is all about definition. It's not working less. It's not doing no work and expecting that you manifest money from a tree. It's doing things with purpose and intention. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. It's why every time I start any of these calls, I always share with sincere gratitude how grateful I am that you give me your time. I can't give you the time back. I can't provide you the resource. I can give you something that hopefully will help you expand your time, hopefully make your time more intentional and valuable, hopefully help you make more money. But I can't ever give you the time back. The 17 minutes that you spent with me so far, I can't ever give it back. It's impossible. And frankly, you can never give me my time back either. It's the truth. It's reciprocal. But what I have identified is the more clear that you are about the things you want in your life, the less you feel the societal pressure on what you should do. And that's what social media does and why being unplugged is so healthy. At the event that we ran, there was no phones allowed. We took everyone's phone, put it in a Nike box, and put it aside. And the biggest fear for most people, especially those with kids, are like, oh my God, like what if something bad happens? But the truth is nothing ever fucking bad happens. It just doesn't happen. You expect that, but it doesn't. Or, oh my God, there's some urgent email. And then you recognize that it wasn't that urgent. We did this for 2 days, okay? 2 full days. Not one person said that they missed anything important, but they were away from their phone. And the weird thing was, you can see like during the session, some people were like feeling their pocket, like, oh, where's my phone? Like as habit, because we're so used to this. But then they realize, oh, I don't need to be attached to this. I can create deep relationships and communication without having to touch my phone all the time. And so in that same vein, if you're using Facebook to basically be distracted, or Twitter to be distracted, or Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is to be distracted instead of being intentional, this will help you become a lot more intentional. And the entire idea is just simply putting down a goal, a real goal. So I'm going to share both of them back to back with you of how we did this. Okay. So whatever the goal is, we didn't define it. We didn't say it has to be a year, 6 months, 30 days, whatever the goal is, you define, because it makes your experience better. I'm not going to tell you what it should be. I would say the majority of our clients, I believe, did 6 months on this goal, but it doesn't matter. It could be anything. Whatever you make the goal is completely fine in terms of the timeline. And then you put together the activities and milestones that need to hit in order to get to this goal, so you can understand what it takes to have a yellow brick road to your achievement. That's the idea. That's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to accomplish, right? But before you can even finish this, you have to understand why, the purpose. Why are we doing it? So obviously we had spoils of war as kind of a play on words, but it's spoils of work. So if you want to make a certain amount of money, what are you going to do with that money? Most people, right, don't have any idea what they want to do with the money that they say that they desperately want to make. They have no clue. And so they just hunt and hunt and hunt and hunt and hunt. They just hunt and hunt. So I'm going to be really vulnerable with you here for a sec. Some of you know this already. Some of you may not. I did have open heart surgery 2 years ago when my wife was 5 months pregnant. I've been a wolf my whole life. My whole life. I just go gather and gather and gather. I acquire resources, money, opportunity, always, right? I come home to my she-wolf, my wife, right? And before she can say, we have enough, I'm already out hunting again, because that's who I was. And so after I had my surgery, I didn't want to be that person anymore, because at the end of the day, when I had my surgery, it could have went bad and I would have never even had a chance to hunt, let alone enjoy the fruits of my hunting. And the reality is a lot of entrepreneurs are just hunters. They don't know what it takes to just not hunt. They don't understand what it's like to be a puppy dog, let alone to be a wolf. They don't know what it takes to just enjoy the fruits of their labor, because the labor is the fruit for most people. And to me, that's wrong. That doesn't have to be wrong to you. If you disagree with me, that's completely okay. That is your prerogative. But if you've been waiting for a message like this, I'm here to tell you it's okay to not just hunt for the sake of it. You've probably heard the concept before of work to live or live to work, right? Most people would say they're working to live, but the truth is the actions showcase that they're living to work. And the reason why is because they're not simply doing this. They're not defining what they're going to do with their money. They're not defining what they're going to choose to do with their freedom of their time. And so I made decisions on what I want to do with my money. I made a decision that on Fridays at noon, I won't be working anymore, because I'm going to either spend time for myself or I'm going to go spend time with my son, either pick him up from school. That's how you can get the most out of this. This is what real deep work is. This is deep work, not surface level bullshit of how to do a WordPress site or a GHL snapshot, or how to overcome an objection. All of those are to a means to an end. What are the means to an end? Anyone that joins Prospecting on Demand, Ruti is one of them. She joined POD. We talk about what is the goal? What are you doing it for? Hi, Ruti. What's the goal? What are we doing for? Ruti wants to buy a home. So what we do is we build a plan for that. This is the amount of money that needs to be made. These are the clients, and it's a math equation. How many of you have something like that? That's why this map matters. Sorry, this is a wrong channel. That's why this map matters. That's why this map matters. What's the actual goal? What are you working towards? What are you doing it for? Are you just doing for the sake of doing? That's why you're burnt out, frustrated, lacking fulfillment, tired all the time, not feeling like you're getting any satisfaction because you're too plugged in and distracted. The biggest problem that I have with being plugged in is I get jealous. I don't want to get jealous. Who the fuck am I supposed to be jealous for? Why would I be jealous? It doesn't matter why. It just happens. It just happens. We see someone celebrating something and you're like, instead of celebrating with them, you're like, why am I not doing that? That's gross. That's not who I am. But it happens. And so then we start trying to build our life based off some other person's like social media post. It's crazy. But this is what happens when we're so plugged in. We get distracted so easily. We get shiny objects so easily. We switch niches so easily. We don't do the hard work because other people, by just posting that they achieved something, you forget the prerequisite of what were the cards that they were dealt? What were the sacrifices they were made? What was the why behind it in the first place? and you lose sight of it. And so often I've spent time with entrepreneurs that have no mission statement. They just climb a mountain, hit the summit, whatever that mountain was, and then immediately start ascending the next mountain. You're like, oh, what are you ascending? Oh, I don't know. I'm just doing it. Just ascending. Because why? For what? If you are been missing this type of message, I just want you to know that I have the message. I'm there for you on this. I believe this so wholeheartedly in my soul. Like I really believe in this. And if you don't believe in it, it's completely okay. You really don't have to. And I actually wrote a book on this. I'm going to be launching it in February, but I'll drop it for you so you can check it out. I did a sneak peek chapter on the Anti-Hustler's Guide, and it's all about what we're talking about today. It's very relevant to being unplugged and to like ultimately how to make more money with intention, how to have more time with intention. That's what I'm writing the book on. And I wanted to finish the book faster. I wanted it to be ready for the Unplugged event because, you know, the event that we ran, this Unplugged event that we just ran at my house, is a perfect segue to, you know, anti-hustle, to what we're talking about, like doing things with intention, not being so plugged into things that don't matter, not worrying about competition, enjoying yourself, like finding fulfillment in your life and your business. Like those are things I really care about. And yet I couldn't finish it because why? Because I couldn't hustle my way to finishing the anti-hustle book. I needed more time. And so I had a choice to make. The choice I had to make was, do I lie about what I'm writing the book for? And is it just a money-making thing? Is it just a marketing tool? Or do I care about the message? And the truth is I care so much more about the message than I ever do about any money that I'll make from it. Really, really. And you could sit here and you can not believe me, or you can listen to my words and know that I'm being honest, sincerely. And so I get to live it. And I rewrote the forward for that purpose. Hey, in January of 2023, when I wanted to get this book done, I had an event, but I realized it was a fake deadline, that I can't get it done unless I hustled, but I'm not going to, because I don't need to hustle, because with intention, the book needs to come out when it has to come out. And so I have another fake deadline, which is the end of February. And you know what happens? If I get to the end of February and I'm not ready, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to push it again, because that's the right thing to do. It all comes down to intention, guys. Deep work makes a massive difference. If you don't know right now why you want to make the money you want to make, that should be a big fucking wake-up call. I did a training on closing mastery a few weeks ago on the Anti-Hustler Show. And one of the training elements was, who wants to make more money? Every single person raised their hands. Any sales call you do that you ask the person on the other line, who do you want to make more money? Everyone says yes. And don't try to be the person right now that's like, well, this one person I spoke to said, I don't really care. You know, most people want to make more money. Okay. And then you ask why. And the only answer they can say is because, or why not? Because there's no intention. We live in a world of no intention. We just live in a world of action. I'm a big believer of defining, designing, and doing. That's what the treasure map is. Define what you want to do with your money and your time. Design the path to get to that goal, and then take the action. Most people just do. They don't define shit. They don't design anything. They just do. And then they wonder, why am I stressed? Why am I struggling? Why am I constantly overwhelmed? This is the answer. This is what happens when you get unplugged. And I get it. I understand this isn't the greatest marketing message. It's not super sexy. It's not going to get everyone that watches this training back, oh my God, I want to work with Alex. Fine. Fuck it. I don't care. It's more important. It's more important than doing another sales training. I'll do more. Don't worry. We're doing this show every single week, the entire year. We got 50 something more to go, or 48 to go. You'll be good. I'll do plenty of it. But this matters to me a lot. It really matters to me a lot. We need to know what we're doing this for. That's what Unplugged is. Jose was at the event. He knows what Unplugged is all about. Deep work really matters. Finding time to do that deep work really matters. So those are the things I wanted to share today. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has whatsoever, or anything that anyone needs. I'm happy to help you. I'm not rushing anyone off here. But that was the show that I had planned. I hope you enjoyed it. I got a little passionate as I went through it, but I can't withhold myself. It's just who I am. So I really hope you had fun. Every single Thursday at 3:00, we'll be doing this show. I already have next week's topic, but I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. So you'll see it in emails and stuff. Is there anything that anyone has any questions about to get unplugged, to get deep work, to find time to execute? Any questions? I'm open to it, and I'll help you as best I can. No, you're good, Jose. No stress, man. All's good. How many hours of deep work do you recommend at one time? Yeah, Ganesh, it's a good question. I don't think I can really tell you that, to be frank. One of the things that I've found is everyone kind of finds deep work differently. It's just most people don't do deep work at all, right? So I think some people were telling us at the event that they do like an hour of deep work every morning, where they like don't do any meetings. I used to do this, Ganesh, where I used to do this thing, Ganesh, where I would do no meetings until 10 a.m. so that I could do 9 to 10 as my deep work time. But then that became Ellie time, my son's time. So it kind of got shot in the foot there. The thing that I do for deep work right now that really helps me is every single what's it called, Friday morning. I don't have any meetings until 11, and now moving forward, I won't have any meetings on Friday at all. So basically, the plan is going to be like just identifying a pretty simple journal prompt that I like doing, like what went right this week, what went wrong this week, and what can I optimize. We oftentimes focus so often on like what went wrong and what can we optimize. And I find that when I do that as deep work, it brings me down, man. It crushes my soul. It's just like, because it's just never a time where I've never found a time where we were like, nothing went wrong this week. It just doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't know. It just never happens that way. I don't know if that's because of who I am. Like I always want it to be better or something. I don't know. But most people resonate when I say that. They're like constantly talking about all the things that are bad, wrong, or could have been done better. And I'm just trying to find a place where it's like, hey, I'm really like proud of this thing that we did this week. So sharing wins and like identifying the things that I'm extremely grateful for has really helped me get into a good sense of deep work. In terms of how long, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like I would at least try to get 2 hours per week total minimum, where you're not on Slack, not on Facebook, not looking at emails, but you have a prompt. Some people can't do deep work without prompts. I'm like prompt master. That's like my thing, that I'm like probably one of my very unique skills is just being very, very good with prompts. So like all the stuff that we did at Unplugged, like all the prompts that we created were created by myself and Brian, my business partner, breaking down just like, ideas that we have of ways to get people to start thinking deeper about their work. And so anytime you guys need any prompts or anything, just message me. But there's also like so many books about like journal prompts on deep work and stuff. So I know that was kind of a shitty answer, but that's the best I got. Yeah, I love that too, Rudy. That has been huge for me. I love that. Yeah, like getting out of the current space that I'm in has been very beneficial. I think that's why a lot of people have offices, but then the office itself becomes that like trap. So it's kind of strange. Yeah, I do really like doing that. I wish I did it more, to be honest, but I do really like that. In terms of prospecting tips, Steve, I've done already 3 shows on that back to back. So if you check out the shows we've already done in the group, you'll see all like 35 to 2 hours of training on that. Any questions for me at all on the show? Anything I can help with? No problem if not, but I just want to make sure everyone's supported and getting the value that you need from this. I hope that you found value in this. I know it was a unique show. I understand that. And next week we'll be back to how to make money type show. but yeah, yes, Steve, all the shows are replayed in Facebook, and we have a vault as well. This is the Facebook group, so you can have access to it. And again, we do this show every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we will continue to do that. And Brian will be back next week. Again, if you missed it, it's his daughter's first birthday today. So he's spending time with her because that's what he should be doing, unplugging. He doesn't need to be on this call. It's fine. He should be spending time with his beautiful daughter. Yeah, my pleasure, Ruth, of course. Cool. Well, if there's no questions, then I will let you all be. I wish you a year of good health, happiness, and success to all of you. Please consider the stuff I'm talking about. Really define your wins and what you really want from your life and from your business so that you can achieve those things and start working on the deep work that's necessary to unplug. You don't have to be on your phone all day, every single day. Something that I tell myself all the time. I'm working on it myself. So again, I'm not on a high horse here. I don't have every answer. I didn't do it perfectly. I'm not perfect. But you can do it too, and so can I. We're capable of it. We're capable of changing. I'll leave you with this comment that I love. It really inspires me a lot. I think about it all the time for any change that I have to do. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you must change. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you must change. And that's the reality. Staying the same as you guys are right now is probably much, much, much more painful than the change that you think it will be. So hope that helps. Love all of you, especially the POD fam, Ruth and Canadian Jose. Appreciate all y'all. If you need anything from me, holler at me, and I will see you on the next one.